I'm Tammie Monaco, and I am the president of Beck-n-Call Event Services. I founded the company in 2007 with the goal of being the Mid-Atlantic region's premier event staffing company with our top-notch servers and bartenders. Remember that all of our team members are fully insured with general liability and workers' comp, and our professional bartenders are also covered under our liquor liability insurance. Today, we are going to discuss a basic table setting. I'm designing this informational video for both my Beck-n-Call Event Services team as well as my clients. Quite often, when we walk into a client's home, the preset table needs a bit of tweaking. Keep in mind that this is just a basic table setting that we'll be doing today, but hopefully you'll be able to apply the tips to your specific place settings. The first step is to determine what the courses of the meal will be. For today's demonstration, we are going to set for a simple meal consisting of a salad course, a main course, and a dessert course. Once you have determined your courses, you will select the flatware needed for each. Obviously, you will need a salad or small fork for the salad course, but will you need a knife as well? Generally speaking, you will not, but some salads and/or their accompanying toppings might require one, and we'll talk about some variations at the end. The entree or main course will generally get a dinner or large fork and knife. As for dessert, it depends upon what you are serving as to whether you will need a fork, a spoon, or both. If you are just having pie, you will likely just need a fork. But if you happen to be serving that slice of pie with a scoop of ice cream, then it would be smart to include a spoon in your dessert place setting as well. While eating the meal, the typical rule of thumb is to use the silverware from the outside of the place setting towards the inside. The exception is that the dessert setting is placed at the top of the plate. So, if you're a guest at a fancy meal and are unsure of which fork or knife to use, start with the ones furthest from your plate and work inward, saving the stuff up top for last. However, when you are setting a table, it is best to work from the inside out. This helps to ensure that the spacing is correct. Once you have a sense as to how tight the place setting at your table will be, you can decide whether there is room for the napkin to lay to the left of your forks, or whether it should go under your forks, or even folded decoratively on the charger. The first step is to put a base plate or charger down. Place one in front of each guest's chair. They should be evenly distributed around the table, even if you won't be using a base plate or charger and will be picking them up after the table is set. They can still be used as a guide for proper spacing and visualization. The napkin can go to the left of the plate. Be sure the fold is facing outward. Forks are always placed to the left of the plate, while knives and spoon are always placed on the right side. A nifty little trick for remembering this is that the word fork has 4 letters, just like the word left. Likewise, the word knife and the word spoon both have 5 letters, just like the word right. The dinner fork, which is the larger of the forks, will be placed directly to the left of the plate. The dinner knife will be placed next to the plate, but on the right side. It is important to note that the blade or cutting side of the knife should always be placed facing towards the plate. Now you can place the salad or smaller fork to the left or outside of the dinner fork. Lastly, the dessert fork and or spoon are placed horizontally at the top of the place setting. The spoon always goes on top with its handle facing right. The dessert fork is placed below it with its handle facing left. There's a neat little trick to remember this by sliding the silverware into place like this. Now that you've got your flatware in place, let's tighten up the place setting. Imagine that you are sitting in a chair in front of that plate. If you were to reach your arms straight out, that is the line that your silverware should be following. One of my biggest pet peeves is seating silverware askew and not parallel. You'll also want to check to see that the flatware is a proper distance from the edge of the table. This is a bit trickier to do with a round table, but as a general rule of thumb, pun intended, the place setting should be about a thumbnail's length from the edge of the table. Let's assume for today's demonstration that you will be serving water and a choice of wine with dinner. Hence, you've opted for a water glass and an all-purpose wine glass. The water glass is always placed directly above the point of the dinner knife. The wine glass should be placed to its right and slightly closer to your seat. If you have decided to use a bread plate, you may hear it referred to as a B&B if you're in the industry. That stands for bread and butter plate. That little plate goes above the forks, and that small, odd-shaped knife with a smooth edge is a butter knife, and it can be placed a number of different ways. However, I have always been trained to keep it in line with the other flatware and place it on the edge with the blade facing towards the center of that B&B plate. Now you've got your basic place setting completed and are ready for your dinner party. Now, let's play for a second and run through a couple different scenarios. Let's say you don't have salad forks or enough salad forks. You can always float the same size fork to give the illusion of one being larger than the other. 2. Let's say you've decided that the salad course needs a knife after all. You'd place the smaller knife to the right of the dinner knife. 3. Now, let's say you're starting with a soup course instead of a salad course. You would not place a salad fork, but instead, you would place a large round soup spoon to the right of the knife. This is meant to be a general guideline. If you've got us booked for your event, feel free to reach out to me directly should you have specific questions about your place setting. We appreciate you watching and look forward to giving you a hand with your next event.